Hey.
Hi, y'all. I'm not going to go in the kitchen.
Hey, everyone. Welcome. Guys, guess what? We're back on. The war is back on. Yeah, that's what this is about right now. Sorry, I'm still handling things here and there, whatever. I wanted to put this on. I missed it. Here you go. Take a look right here. See those 6? Apparently, I don't know if they're all just Hamas, all allegedly killed today. Also, a higher up there in Islamic Jihad was also killed. So, what is going on? I'll tell you in a second. I will tell you right now. Sorry, just had to send a few. Wake up this morning to I seriously, like, usually wake up, I put on the radio, listen to the news, and I'm like, is this Groundhog Day? Like, did I just go back in time? What just happened? Schools are closed. I was like, I remember on 9/11, I was driving. I was driving on the Cross Island, I think, when from Queens to Manhattan, and Flushing. I was driving within Queens, and I remember, my tape, stopped, and the radio came on, and I heard something, and it's like the announcement about the Twin Towers. The broadcaster's talking about the Twin Towers, and I was like, what with the Twin Towers? Like, what? Come on, guys, that was 91. Like, no. Don't this is bad news, bad journalism, bad, like, they shouldn't be letting people think that this is actually happening. Like, if this is a memorial or something like that, like remember the bombing in 91. Was it 91? Anyway, the previous one. Then, okay. But you need to end it because people think they're listening live. And then I was like, wait a second. Oh, whoa, this is real. This is happening now. That's kind of what I experienced this morning. Not as dramatic, maybe, but schools are closed in Sderot and the surrounding the Israeli communities surrounding Gaza. And I was like, what? And I'm like quickly, making coffee and checking the news and saying, what just happened? And in the middle of the night, like something around, I think 3:00 in the morning, Israel started attacking points in Gaza, and at least 400 people have been killed, according to Gazan reports. And by the way, we just had a missile from the Houthis, shot at Israel today from Yemen. So much going on. I'm looking for the exact. So this is what we wake up to. Let's see. Let me go back to this announcement. At 2:25 a.m. This is the IDF. In accordance with the political echelon, the IDF and ISA are currently conducting extensive strikes on terror targets belonging to the Hamas terrorist organization in the Gaza Strip. Details to follow. And then a little bit after that, following a situational assessment, changes will be made to the IDF Home Front Command's defensive guidelines as of 2 a.m. As part of the changes, the areas of the communities near the Gaza Strip will change from full activity to limited activity, meaning educational activity will not be allowed. Okay, so further on, this is what the army says they struck. Targets belonging to Hamas and Islamic Jihad. Include terror cells, launch posts, weapon stockpiles. So anyway, there's already evacuation orders. So the Gazans who were waking up for Ramadan, because this is Ramadan and Muslims fast from sunrise to sunset. So they wake up before sunrise, and they eat a big meal. And so this was like about the same time as they're getting up. Now they're getting this order to evacuate. Many were killed, um, and 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 then told to flee from the east. Like, so they're being pushed into further into Gaza, so it widens the buffer area between Israel and whatever areas Palestinians can access in Gaza. They also they shut off the checkpoints that allow Gazans to go from, cross from north to south. And I believe there was something with the Rafah crossing, which is a very big deal, for Israelis. Here you've got what's happening, a little bit of what's happening in Gaza. This is the Israeli media, Channel 12. So, all right, so let's see. Any minute now. I'm not going to probably be on for that because they say 8 o'clock and then it's always too late. So it's 8:10 here. Let me see. What was the announcement from the governments? Because there was some announcement. Yes, okay. At 3:07 a.m. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Defense Minister Israel Katz have instructed the IDF to take strong actions against the Hamas terrorist organization in the Gaza Strip. This follows Hamas's repeated refusal to release our hostages, as well as its rejection of all the proposals it has received from U.S. presidential envoy Steve Witkoff and from the mediators. The IDF is at this time attacking targets of the Hamas terrorist organization throughout the Gaza Strip, in order to achieve the objectives of the war as they have been determined by the political echelon, including the release of all of our hostages, the living and the deceased. Israel will from now on act against Hamas with increasing military strength. So there's also, there's going to be another cabinet meeting tonight, and there's also there's a lot going on with the government. Now, this is very interesting timing as well, that this week there was another move made by the government to implement the judicial reform. Now, this was the issue that divided the country before October 7th, 2023, that everybody, that there were protests, that everybody was split on this. And Netanyahu's government, they want to do the judicial reform, and there's a lot of opposition to it, saying that it's going to create a very dictatorial type government where only, where the prime minister will have all the power. So that's the objections to that. But so something was getting passed regarding the judicial reform. Then Netanyahu very publicly, said yesterday that this was exploding all over the news yesterday, or maybe the day before. It all is blending. That he is going to fire the head of the Shabak, the Shin Bet, which is kind of like Israel's FBI. It's like the internal security service. And he said there's a total lack of trust between what he's done and how he, the organization, the Shabak, failed totally, entirely on October 7th, or failed to prevent October 7th, for getting any processing intelligence information fast enough. So he said he's going to be fired. Now, he just recently, a couple months ago, the defense minister was fired. I feel like there was somebody else recently. The chief of staff of the army was replaced, and now they're looking to replace the head of the Shin Bet. And also there have been moves to replace the attorney general. So this is all still ongoing. You need to catch a glimpse here. This is what's happening right now in Tel Aviv. This is a protest, exactly what I'm talking about, against the firing of Ronen Bar. But it's not just that. I mean, and by the way, warplanes all the time. Like, we're totally back to warplanes and everything that we had gotten used to before October 7th, and during, since October 7th. And so, I mean, this is massive. This is tens of thousands of people. This was a press conference they just had. There was Bibas. This is Yarden Bibas, who, not the one speaking, the one behind him, who lost his family, Shiri, and the two kids. And these are former hostages who got out in the some of them in the last rounds. This is Yair Horn. His brother Eitan is still there, and look, he can't make it through his speech. I watched this live before. He said all of the videos that we got as a sign of life, I hope that they're not going to become our last parting videos that we see of these people. So there are 59 hostages remaining, and 24 of them are believed to be alive, although the number could be lower. But I think there's signs of life for about 19 or 20 of them. Now, the protests are not just for Ronen Bar, the head of the Shabak. There's also, did he speak in, Hebrew and English? I missed it. Anyway, he was speaking in Hebrew in this one. Tomorrow, it says here, tomorrow there's going to be a big protest in Jerusalem. So the hostage families woke up in horror to this news, because so far, after about 18 months, 529 days, military action has not resulted in bringing back the hostages alive. Very few hostages have been rescued. Maybe about 7 have been rescued out of originally 250. And so the families are, they say there should be diplomacy, there should be a deal, not military action. It's not going to work. And also the hostages that have returned have said that when they were in captivity, they could tell what was happening in the political arena by the response of their captors. So if there was something in the news, or the Israeli government, opposing a ceasefire or more attacks on Gaza or something like that, then they would get beaten more, or food would be withheld. They also said toward the end, they're only receiving like a quarter of a pita or a date for the entire day, and or a cup of tea. There was one who said that, he had to decide, like, should I ask for the tea or should I ask for a date? Like, which one would benefit me more? So those are the conditions for the hostages. Now, in political news, right here, Nver, who left the government when Israel went along with the ceasefire, and he's considered extremely right wing. He is all about security, but wanted to carry on the war, only military action. That was his main drive. And when Israel agreed to the ceasefire, which released the previous 33 hostages in the last couple of weeks, he said, we're out of the government. And he said, when you go back to war, maybe I'll come back to the government. Now, it didn't topple Netanyahu. He still has enough Knesset members to have a majority in the coalition. But it did make him a little bit weaker, but he still had more than 60. But now he's up by another 5. So Netanyahu's good. No chance of the government falling. Okay, so these were the first attacks for 60 days. Israel saying we need to do this to pressure Hamas. Now, here's the interesting thing. I told you about Ronen Bar, the head of the Shin Bet. He is not fired yet. That was going to be tomorrow, Wednesday. It's going to be tomorrow. Don't know if it's still on the cards. He's in the cabinet meeting last night, and apparently it was a unanimous decision to go back to war. So he voted with Netanyahu on that. So don't know what's going to happen with him. The IDF they haven't said specifically, but they said all cards are on the table, which means that there could be another ground invasion. And that will be another thing that when Israel had just pulled out almost completely its military of Gaza. So to put troops back in, and it's one thing for for Israelis, but it's something also for Gazans who had just gone home, some of them. Then, of course, the Houthis. You know about the Houthis? Do you know that the oh, wow, very good. Gong Gong has not said hello, but Kim is.
Hi. I can't show my hair because it's really bad. No, Mom, no.
Okay. It's not really bad. She's just preparing her curls for tomorrow. Oh, I don't want this. See if one of your brothers wants it.
I made it for myself.
Oh, so you eat it. Go ahead, eat your pizza. Planes right now, like jets. We haven't had that in a long time, so it's like your ears perk up and you're like, what the heck? Hi, Kim and Rachel and Sherry. Is it Dave? I'm sorry. Let me know. You can let me know in the chat. It was great seeing you guys on. Oh, guess what? Raya. Everybody's saying hi. Mimi and Gong Gong apparently are watching. That was great seeing you guys on Saturday in the Old City. I hope you enjoyed your tour. I was going to say we should do more tours like this, but who knows what's going to happen? Because if this were, all the airlines were just coming back. United was back. All the other airlines were Mike, I'm sorry. Mike and Sherry and Rachel. So all the airlines were about to come back. And now who knows what's going to happen if they're going to cancel again, because we don't know where this war is going to go. So anyway, Trump has decided to go all in with the Houthis, or all out on the Houthis. The Houthis in Yemen. They were attacking all ships going through the Red Sea, into the Suez Canal. Was it the Suez Canal? Anyway, Trump's like, no, you guys got to go. He even threatened Iran because Iran's their biggest funder. And he said, the Houthis are on you. So you better tell your boys to get in line because we'll go after you. So that's all going on now. The Houthis were firing ballistic missiles at Israel during the war. We had some major ones. Many of them shot down. Most of them were shot down, but that's from about more than 1,000 miles away, and they stopped when the ceasefire, this latest one, went into effect. They stopped, but. And then Trump just started up with them in the past week. And I was going to tell you something about Iran. Okay, so there was a rocket alert today, and it happened to be from Yemen, not from Gaza. So, I think I got a lot of it. The White House is apparently backing this Israel's decision to go back to war. I heard earlier today 360 Gazans killed, but it might be over 400 now. I heard another report. I think there's no electricity in the Gaza Strip, or Israel cut off electricity, was cutting off supplies to pressure them to release hostages. Now, Israel's saying you didn't release the rest of the hostages, hence we're going to go back. But actually, they were not supposed to, it wasn't part of the agreement to release the hostages. It was just a deal that Steve Witkoff had said, let's do some more releases while you're not fighting. Now let's do some more releases. So it's not like Hamas breached. I'm not defending Hamas. It's not like they breached the agreement by not releasing hostages. It's just that they, they were abiding by the previous agreement. Anyway, and Israel was like, yalla, do it faster. And then anyway, this is what happened. I'm not going to go into detail on this, but there is a whole, there, what's happening in Syria, the military and police of the current government were going through slaughtering Alawites. Many Christians were also killed. There's still not closure about what the Druze are going to do, that are in southern Syria. And an interesting thing will be like what the Druze are a whole different people group. I mean, Syria is very sectarian in a way. I say that about Lebanon as well, but it's different groups, different people groups, different religions in Syria. And with this new government, with Julani, he's a former Al Qaeda terrorist, wanted $10 million bounty, who's now running the government. So his people are very ISIS-esque in their approach and very fundamentalist, and they hate the Alawites, which is another Muslim sect, and they were killing them, slaughtering them. And I think there's a dispute on the reports about Christians. I definitely don't want to take away if Christians are being threatened there, and I'm sure they feel threatened. But I have heard the numbers disputed, that maybe there are not as many being killed, but I really need to research that and find out what's happening. So this is all happening on the northern border. We had the political rumblings happening in Israel this week, and then suddenly the political rumblings led to this military restarting, the renewal of military activity in Gaza, and very big question mark over the fate of 59 hostages, some of whom are fathers and have kids here, living here. So the families are out protesting. This is them in the Knesset today saying, stop this war. 525 days that he has already survived alive. This could be what blows it up and kills them. So anyway, this is how there's just a lot of angst. There is a lot of tension, beyond tension, anger. There's a lot of anger. And I mean, we just woke up to this morning, so I don't know what is going to be. I don't know how long term it's going to be, if this escalates, or if it's just kind of like a message to say, come on, let's make a deal now. So if you're just tuning in, I'm going to end this soon. Go back, watch the beginning, just get up to speed, and definitely stay tuned in the coming days. I will report. I'll report on this as things transpire. I'm supposed to be on the Tamara Scott show tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. your all time, and Eastern time. No, Middle Central time. But I have to remember, because we didn't change our clock. So for me, it's 7:30 p.m. So anyway, I'll give an update on that for her too. And oh my gosh, I have an update also for a different organization on Friday. And the funny thing is, I was thinking this week, I'm like, wow, I'm so used to reporting on the war, and now there's not really fighting, and there's really nothing going on. What did I ever used to report about when there wasn't a war? Well, I don't have to think too hard this week. All right, I'm going to go. Thank you so much for tuning in, and let's see what happens.